And now, please welcome the host of the Ask Dr. Hal show, the inimitable Dr. Fiasco.
Good evening. Hello. Good evening. I'll be your host tonight. Gallagher wasn't available. He's doing a bar mitzvah tonight. So, you got me. So, yeah. Well, we're going to start moving right along. As you know, this is an intellectual salon. And for an intellectual salon to work out, we need learned men. Men who have spent their lives figuring out the mysteries of the universe. Men of science who have probed far and wide in search of the answers to the mysteries of the galaxies. Men of knowledge who can shower their knowledge upon the rest of us like manure on a lettuce field. Yes, we need a man like this in the show tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, that man was not available, but instead got Pete Goldie here. Pete Goldie is our resident astrophysicist. Pete Goldie knows so much about space. He can actually make the space feel like a small town in Pennsylvania. Please welcome Pete Goldie. Good evening. Hey, good evening, Pete.
Hello, Dr. Fiasco.
Hello, Pete.
Long time, Dr. Fiasco.
Yeah, long time no see you.
Remember?
How's the family?
Oh, good. They're right there. And your family?
Yeah, they're pretty good too.
Right there?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
That's good. Our wives are watching. What the hell do we do tonight?
That's a good question. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's not go there.
Okay.
But what do you have for us this week? What has been going on in space?
There's a lot going on. This will be a long one.
Oh boy.
Longer the better.
Right.
So let's get to it.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, I have a technical problem. This is an inch too low.
That's not.
Can you get me a book? A phone book height. Yeah.
What's a phone book?
20 minutes.
God damn it! Just take my gavel here.
There we go. No, I need a higher than that gavel. And you need your gavel there. I'd like to
the skull.
Oh, there's a book under the skull. Okay.
Jordan, get off that book.
Are you gravity?
Right there. It's right there.
Okay, just a moment.
Are you union?
No, I can't make it. Okay, I'll just scooch. Okay. Here's Hal's newest prop, by the way.
Ooh.
Unbreakable plasma globe.
Prove it.
It's unbreakable.
Prove it.
You can't prove a negative.
Knock it off the table.
It can't be broken. The first picture here, Dr. Fiasco, is of the.
It's a poorly made PowerPoint. Yeah.
That's right. This is from the last planet of our solar system, Neptune, the farthest planet out in the cold reaches of our solar system. Neptune has a small moon around it called Despina. Despina, as you know, was the daughter
My
of
girlfriend once. No, never mind.
Was it Despina? Yes, that's my wife. That's your wife.
Yeah, right.
Despina was the daughter of Poseidon, I am told by Hal Robbins. And here's the moon, Despina, and here it is again, and here it is again, and here it is again.
Dude, you're so
20 years.
You so put like a wife daughter in this slide. This no way.
It is, and I can doubly prove that, because not only is the moon here, 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 and here, the shadow of the moon is here, 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 and
Oh,
here.
you put a black dot
No
there.
way.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so impressed.
That is beyond our present capabilities to fake. It cannot be done. There. And in fact, this was faked 20 years ago when Voyager 2 went nearby Neptune, and it's not been visited by any of our robots since then.
That's a Star Trek one. Right?
No, this isn't the Star Trek one.
Babylon 5.
No, that was Vader. Was that one? And I always get that one wrong. Thank you. I get that wrong every time.
That's right.
So how many slides you have? Because I spent about like 3 to 5 minutes on the slide.
Yeah, this is just the introductory slide where I put the name of the show on in here. But I want to point out that they had never noticed 20 years ago when they flew by that you could see the shadow on the surface of Neptune. So an amateur astronomer went and put together this.
Emphasis on amateur. Yeah.
Yes, an amateur. Once again, put together this. He has a name too. Amateur image processor and philosophy professor Ted Sticks. Remember Sticks, the drummer? Okay.
It sounds like
Yes,
a made up.
yes, he made up this picture and it went on the internet. There
Oh,
is.
it's on the internet. It's real.
Where I found it, and it already had these labels on it. It was really convenient. It was the best thing about it.
They're in,
From space.
in the same-
20 years ago,
From space.
they took this picture with all those letters on it.
Shall we move on to the next slide?
Yeah, I have lots, hundreds and hundreds of pictures.
I don't want you to tell
Image
us
number
your
2,
job.
Sherilyn.
Image number 2, Sherilyn.
There you go. Oh, news from the moon.
Is that the penis?
Guess who's on the moon? Yes, our Chinese friends,
The Chinese.
the Chinese,
That's right, yes.
who are Chinese, are on the moon.
Oh,
This is
okay.
their rover called Chang'e, which I believe is called is something for rabbit.
Jade Rabbit.
Jade Rabbit. Thank you, everyone. Jade Rabbit.
That makes sense.
And these are the tracks of its rover, which is called YouTube,
Doing wheelies.
which is no, it's called U2, which is
Video.
who knows what U2 means?
The letter U and the numeral 2.
Very good,
Copying
Michael.
is a
Thank you.
criminal act.
There you go. Here is the picture. They actually
Every time
took
there's a comedian to show.
they took a panorama picture and it shows a crater and it shows the rover getting the hell out of here. It took next image, please, Sherilyn. And the panorama now shows the rover. There it is, U2, and they're doing some great things with it. All the instruments are working. Everything is functional. But America had to check: did Chinese really land on the moon? The next animation will show you what we had to do. It was necessary for us to take a picture of where they landed, just to see
Yeah.
nothing, something, nothing, something.
Whoa.
There's the lander, there's the rover. Nothing, something, nothing, something. So now it's official because Americans saw it.
I see the face.
And it's been very difficult, actually, though, for us here in the country who are really eager to find the science results of the mission to actually get it, because the Chinese news agencies are not as finely polished as NASA's Public Information Office. And they don't even translate to English the news reports. And I'll give you an example. This is a real example. Can we pick up the next one, Sherilyn? This is actually an example of the news release. It's actually in Chinese, the original text. And the Google translation is, I shit you not, third sister and I said just now, topography camera on her, and after the end of moonlight seems to have not used, although it already successfully completed all scheduled tasks. There is no protection in the cold and dark moonlit design, but true is broken or a little sad. After all, my photos are taken of it, and now its sister, one less pair of eyes, is certainly more lonely, and you do not just draw me, but also children. She painted several paintings. Oh.
It's like poetic in a way, you know. It's like they got Ezra Pound to write there, like.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
press release. It's
cosmically
pretty good.
beautiful what they're translating, what the Google translator is giving. They're crowdsourcing the the translations going on.
I suspect
Literally,
that
this
the
is
Google
true.
translator is really just like a bunch of like 6-year-old Filipino kids.
Yeah, it was like on our show. That's how we made.
Yeah.
no
They
sound
also
like
write the other show that we do that we shall not talk about.
that. We're not going to talk about
Yeah, we're
that.
not gonna.
Anyway, they've gotten that. Oh, look at this. This was taken just recently by one of our robots that's
Just the space
been
bar.
I do not know why that
circling.
I see a
where
black
Microsoft
planet.
comes
I
from.
see a black and white planet.
No,
Yes,
Mitchell
right.
coming
Look at
through.
the
It's a square planet.
Yes, hit it with a laser. Oh, there we go.
Keep
This is
doing
how the
it.
remote works. There we go.
Keep doing it.
Okay.
Space is
Now,
awesome.
Sherilyn slowly
Thank you,
wanders
sir.
back to where the images are. How about image number 6, Sherilyn, out of the
Not image
600
number
I
6. You
have?
want to see image number 6? There's your
There it
image
is.
6.
Yes, guess what? A new nova has been found in the southern sky. If you are in
Wow,
South,
it looks so real.
South America, where this guy is from,
So south.
then you might be able to see it. You can barely see it on the horizon. It is in near Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri is famous because
Not
what?
here.
It's the closest star to our solar system, 4 light years away. Well, Alpha Centauri. I don't take questions. That's
Yeah, no, that's the
Hal's
other
job.
guy. The guy that comes next.
Yeah, ask
There.
the questions for Hal.
There's the new nova. Nova Centauri 2013 was discovered about December 7th. And next image, please. Just to show you what it really looks like. Here it is. It's a beautiful nova. What a nova is not an exploding star. It's a star that
It's
is
a crappy car.
Yeah, it was a Chevy.
Charlton Heston's girlfriend.
Not too good. But anyway, what happens is it expands rapidly, throws off its outer shells, gets massively brighter than it was. And again, just to prove that it really happened, can we show the next animation, Charlie?
Yeah.
Whoa.
There we go. There's before, after, before, after, before,
Whoa,
after.
whoa.
No, after, before.
After.
Whoa, whoa.
There again. Yes, it's much brighter when a nova happens. Much brighter.
Okay, thanks.
Wow.
I
Okay.
think we got the idea.
There, we triggered the fits yet? Next image, please. Get rid of that animation. We want to go to something.
That's pretty.
Now, novas are rather well understood by our top computers and the scientists that tend them. They've got it all figured out. This is something they can't figure out. This is called the Red Rectangle Nebula. And this is not
This is made up. No way.
made up. This is not made up.
This is like a bad lens in your camera. You were like filming.
You would
took
think
a,
that.
Took a picture of something in your like bathroom tile.
That is exactly what Dr. Fiasco would tell me. Yes.
It's your
Right.
downstairs bathroom.
I know, it sort of looks like this. But if that was the case, why are all these other stars all perfectly circular? If this
These are
one
the
is
holes
getting
in
the
the
lens,
plywood
the
that you drill
J.J.
and put a
Abrams
light
lens
behind it.
flare
That's what
effect
it is.
going on there, and everything else. It actually is forming a rectangle. They used to call it the Red Square Nebula until the Hubble took a picture of it, which this is a Hubble picture.
Hubble.
And they realized that's not a square, dudes.
Right.
That's a rectangle. So it's a red rectangle nebula, and almost everything is spherical in space. Why?
It's
No
space.
reason.
What's that
like-
movie?
we like it that way.
What's that movie I didn't see?
Sphere.
Gravity, right? Gravity.
Did you see Gravity?
How it's
No, I haven't
sphere.
seen
I
Gravity.
didn't see it and I didn't like it.
Right. So this one is hard to explain because it is not spherical. It is truly shaped. They think it might be a bipolar cone-shaped star having outbursts.
Bipolar, cone-shaped.
Bipolar cone-shaped.
You're really
Star
working this, aren't you?
having
you're
outbursts.
You're really like trying to see how far you can stretch the whole charade, right?
It's a mystery.
No,
It's a
yeah,
complete
it
mystery.
is a mystery how you actually are up here telling us this stuff.
It
But
is
yeah,
true.
Right.
It's true. Let's celebrate something in space.
Let us celebrate.
Something that happened on a nearby planet called Mars. Let's go to the next image, Sherilyn.
Let's.
Yes, look at this. Here's Steve Squires from Cornell University, head of the Mars Expedition Rover program, the principal investigator there. Here he is showing a picture of chalk on Mars, or actually gypsum. I'm sorry, not chalk, but gypsum. He found a vein of gypsum near Endurance Crater. They're all excited
AKA
about
a
it.
broken piece of chalk, yeah, right?
Yeah. $1 billion they found that.
Yeah.
And there is, it's not the remains of the trash fence. It's
Right.
actually on Mars. He's giving this seminar last week, and during last
It's
week's
kind of
seminar,
hot.
they're talking, and they're celebrating 10 years of the rovers on Mars. They were designed to last 90 days. 10 years later, still running. They were designed to run 1 mile. They ran, the one that's still running is now 23 miles and still going. And so they had a seminar going, woohoo, look at us, we are hot shit engineers. And during that, next image, he had another little surprise for everyone. Now, the Mars Expedition Rover Opportunity is in its wintering place. It can't move around, not enough sunlight during winter, so it's just sitting there at an angle, tilting its solar panels toward its Sol and gathering up enough energy to barely stay alive. And while it's doing that, occasionally it takes a photograph. Well, it took a photograph of the edge of its solar panels there, and it happened to see a red circle there on Mars. And then 12 days later, it took a photograph.
There's
red
a great
circle.
third in there. Somebody took their dog and didn't pick it up.
Exactly. A rock appears out of nowhere.
That's not a rock.
It's a rock.
It's not
Oh,
a
you-
rock.
wait.
That ain't no
It's a
rock.
donut.
It's a donut. It's a jelly donut.
It's a doctor.
That is correct. Somebody in there is correct. I will laser. Let's see the next image so we have a better shot of what it really looks like. There it is in a fake color shot. It does look like a
This
pod.
was taken on top of Burno Hill. Yeah.
Now, how could a rock just appear out of nowhere in
That's
this
an iPod?
supposedly static planet? This is hardly static.
Martian iPod.
But what are the chances? Well, they have two theories. One theory, which is really easy, and they want it to be true, is that when the rover was moving around nearby and had to make a turn, one of its wheels, the actuator which turns the wheel back and forth, is stuck, doesn't work anymore, so it sort of drags, and as it did it, it sort of flipped this rock over like a little twiddling thing. Tiddly a tiddly wing.
Right, right.
A tiddly donut, and it flipped it over there while it was doing its little maneuver, which is a little hard to explain because was already there when suddenly it appeared. The other idea is that it actually got caught in the wheel, and while it was sitting there, it fell out of the wheel. The wheels are hollow and rolled over there. That's another idea. And they're thinking, well, it's probably the tiddlywink theory is the most likely one. Or the other theory, if you notice, it does
Is
look
that like a scientific name? Like
a little
tiddly-widdly theories? There's like a scientific paper saying
Steve Squires.
tiddly-widdly.
Steve Squires said tiddlywink at Cornell University in the seminar celebrating 10 years of research.
Well, science has really come a long way. Huh?
That's right. Yeah. He's a tall scientist. He can't be lying.
He's good looking, too.
He's really good-looking tall scientists. They're always honest. Look at this. If you look at it, it does look like an exploding pot. It also looks a little metallic. It looks, frankly, a lot metallic. I think the next image will be a close-up.
It's a crushed can of Tecate.
Look at how metallic it is. So the other theory is, in fact, a meteor crashed to Mars, and some of the ejecta splattered out and happened to land right by the rover. What are the chances of that happening?
What are the chances?
Yeah, Dr. Fiasco, what are the chances?
What are the chances?
You've been to MIT. Tell us the chances.
What are the chances?
Damn littly small.
Widdly, littly small?
Tiddly small. Really, they think that can't have happened. The chances that you're sitting there and in 12 days a meteor lands at your foot.
You know, I believed all this as if it was true.
Yeah, as if it was true. But, it wasn't true. It's none of this is true. Anyway, that's image number 13. And enough about Mars. We've really had enough about Mars. We're going to move on to something else any second here. But, many of you people probably know that Dr. Fiasco is, in fact, from the southern hemisphere of our planet. In fact, he was once the original Brazilian astronaut. And here we have with us,
That's it.
visiting the Ask Dr. Hal show, once again,
Through having my
a representative from the Brazilian space program.
There he is. Hey, partner.
Usually has the football shirt on, but we're doing the best we can here.
This is the Brazilian astronaut under serious budgetary constraints. Yeah,
Well, everyone's budget has been cut down there. Thank you, astronaut. It's been wonderful that you visited us and shared with us all your knowledge of the Brazilian space program.
Godspeed.
Go ahead. You can take a seat. By the way, you get PBRs on the house.
Fare thee well.
No problem. Moving right ahead, I want to show something with one of the latest theories of cosmology. Here it is. Oh, no, actually, this is an earlier theory of cosmology. Is when man finally got a hold of a telescope. This is metaphorical. And was able to look past the blue veil there to see things and start to explain things cosmologically. Now, I'm getting to something serious here, Dr. Fiasco. When people started
I'm wearing the sandals of humility here. Whatever you say.
When there was an opportunity to try and start explaining everything in the greater universe, when we finally got a telescope and could look past this curtain of stars and start seeing, clouds, wheels, things, and explain, put it all into a master.
Is that where the wheel in the sky keeps on turning song comes from?
You know how that goes.
Is that?
Next
I'm
line.
asking you.
Yes, that's where it comes from.
Okay, cool.
It's cosmological.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, it basically they came down to two theories after they looked at all this stuff, and one of the theories is that everything you see is the way it is, and is the way it almost always has been, which is the steady state theory. Sort of, it's okay, okay, nothing changes much really,
We're all decaying.
Yeah, you live in Iowa, nothing happens. Steady state theory.
We're all going to become one giant Iowa.
Right. And the other theory that many of you have also heard of is called the Big Bang Theory. Anyway, the name Big Bang actually came from the next image. It was a man named Fred Hoyle. There we go. Now, doesn't that look like a scientist? You may notice
You
resemblance.
never kissed a girl.
Yeah. This was Fred Hoyle, and he actually coined the term Big Bang because he didn't believe in it. He was a very famous cosmologist, astrophysicist. This man figured out nucleosynthesis. Say the word.
But again,
Nucleosynthesis. One more time. Nucleosynthesis. He figured out stars alone, just cooking up simple hydrogen and helium, could make all the other elements. And he figured that out. And he did not believe in a expanding universe, and he did not believe in all that. Well, anyway, he's dead. He produced a very important atlas of peculiar galaxies, which was used to study the evolution of galaxies. Very famous. He just died a couple weeks ago. This astronomer, also very broke a lot of ground, did a lot of great things. Believed in the steady state theory. Did not believe in the Big Bang.
He didn't?
No.
So
dead.
the Iowa theory.
He died.
Like
Steady
Iowa.
state theory. Another proponent of that gone. So that.
That sounds like conspiracy to
I
me,
know.
man.
It's Fred Hoyle. That's Harp there. Now, who's the next person who influenced me greatly is another person who's also in big man in science who influenced me so much. I can't tell you how much is it. We'll bring up that image next, and then
The professor!
well, actually, I'm glad we brought this up.
You know, we don't have this guy in Brazil, so I have no idea who this person is.
Right, I know. You told me many times there was no Gilligan's Island in Brazil.
We did have Kojak.
You had
then.
Fantasy,
We had Kojak.
Fantasy Island, but you didn't have.
We had the guy with the cockatoo. What's his name?
You had
Beretta.
Yeah, Beretta. We had that.
Beretta.
But this guy,
No.
I had no can't help you.
Okay, this is the professor.
Right.
His real character name was Roy Hinckley. And he had a BA, an MA, and a PhD. And he was referred to as professor. And yes, he could make a radio out of
A coconut.
and seaweed and fish guts, right? But he couldn't patch a 2-foot hole in a boat. You know. But
He
anyway,
had a PhD from Federal State Community College.
according to the backstory, it was from the Texas Christian University.
Yeah, they were teaching him about like how the Earth is like 5,000 years old. And
I'm not talking about his
dinosaurs.
astronomical background at all. This was a mistake bringing this up. It's the next image of the person who I want to introduce. Bring this up. This is
Oh, I
John
know this
Dobson.
guy.
John Dobson undoubtedly was the most influential amateur astronomer that has ever lived. John Dobson was someone that I knew, my wife knew, and thousands of other people also knew him. We celebrated his 98th birthday on September 14th. That day at the Ask Dr. Hal show, we had him here. Next image, we have a few other pictures of John Dobson. This was when he was a little younger. He was 98 last September. Here he is again, describing some of his theories. Next image, please. And he also, his contribution was the first half-naked man to make telescopes. And he actually invented a telescope design called the Dobsonian telescope, which is a reflecting telescope. He showed people how to hand grind lenses out of old windows, porthole glass, Liberty ships originally, and eventually larger mirrors, as you can see it, hand
But
ground
first
the
he would
mirrors.
rub coconut oil over his torso.
That's right. You do this, and he made telescopes cheaper and more accessible than any other person who ever lived. And he also invented sidewalk astronomy here in San Francisco. He began as a Buddhist monk until he decided to leave the seminary. He lived until this last Wednesday, and he passed away on Wednesday.
What did this guy not do?
Next image.
Next Wednesday.
Laugh at my jokes. He never once laughed at my
Oh, that's
But the final thing is John Dobson also believed in steady state, even until Wednesday.
man, it's like,
It's pretty much
I don't want to
passing on.
say, but the facts.
I know. It's all playing out that the whole steady state theory is pretty much, it's all pretty much all going to the grave. But we're all going to miss John. John, he was really an incredible guy, and look him up someday. Someday you will see a telescope on a sidewalk. It will be a Dobsonian telescope, named after this person, because he invented it, made it cheap, made it available, and opened up a lot for anyone. Who cares what he thought? He opened up a lot of people's eyes. You can think what you want, all on your own. Anyway, let's go on the next image, which is one of the things that they couldn't explain. They could not explain these deep Hubble images, how these galaxies could be so far away, how things could be expanding, how things could be accelerating as they expand. And I'm not even going to show you a picture of the cosmic background microwave radiation. That actually, all that really is trouble for all the steady state people to explain. Why there's still a microwave hum throughout the whole universe. Yeah. Anyway, quickly moving along. This is going to be the year of the major interplanetary mission you're going to hear about this year. You're going to hear about it on Monday.
Like somebody took
And
a
on
stove,
Monday-
put some solar panels next to it. Like,
Yeah, a washing machine, dishwasher with solar panels. And this is the Rosetta mission. Can you sing that song?
Say what?
Rosetta.
Who?
Jim Forniato's he's not here. Yeah. Anyway, this is the Rosetta mission launched by the European Space Agency. Very expensive, very big mission. It weighs about 3 tons, this thing. Right there is an actual lander. It's going to approach a satellite this next fall. And it's going to take this lander off of it, which is hopefully will drift over to the comet and attach itself to it. It's going to follow the comet. All the other comet missions in the past have been basically drive-bys, take a few shots, keep on going like a gang war. This one will accompany the comet as it enters the inner solar system. Let's go to the next image, please. This is the lander, the tiny little thing that's going to go off. If you look at the feet here, there's little corkscrews. Next image, please, Cheryl. I know, it's a screw itself into the surface of this comet before it does its things, if it can get there, if it happens. And a lot of ifs. And the big if is going to happen on Monday. That's just a couple of days from now. Because Rosetta, this mission, has been completely in hibernation for almost 3 years. And it's going to turn on, it's going to orient itself to Earth. It's going to warm up its cameras and its transmitter. Its clock is going to say, okay, phone home. It's going to send a message to Earth saying, hey, I'm here and I'm ready. And it's going to start getting ready and chase that comet. Or they'll never hear from it.
It's going to put the curls up. And
yeah, it's going to do all those things. It's going to take off its footsie pajamas, it's going to roll them up, it's going to do everything. And it's finally going to do the mission. If the mission happens, it's going to be incredible because it's actually intercepting the comet out where the comet is hardly doing anything cold, and it's going to follow the comet as it goes into the inner solar system where it heats up, it's boiling off all the carbon dioxide, water vapor, chunks of everything, stuff, blah, blah, blah. Nice pictures, if it works. We're going to find out on Monday if it works. $1 billion mission, sleeping for 3 years. They're going to wake all that money up and tell it to phone out.
Money worked for you.
How do you wake this thing up?
It's the most expensive alarm clock ever invented. Yeah, it is. It's incredible. And I have 8 more pages of stuff here. Cheryl, what's the next image, please?
We have all night.
Yeah, I wanted, my daughter is still continuing her flight training. There she is, Daria. That's our daughter, right? That's the right picture?
That's her.
Okay, good. There he is. And she's doing really good. Here she is. She's been learning a lot. But the next image, really quick, guys. There she is also with me outside of K-Rob's film farm in front of the Castro, and it's with the yarn dogs. The Doggy Diner is having a Kickstarter now. I'm actually going to plug that you guys look up the Doggy Diner Kickstarter and give some money to get the stupid yarn off these dogs and get them all restored. Buy a new trailer for John Law, the billionaire John Law, and get it all fixed up so that we can all enjoy this. These 3 Doggy Diners.
Those ladies made this for the doggy heads,
Yeah.
It's sad to see go,
Right.
but do give money to John Law's Kickstarter.
Right, look at him do it.
We're done? Woo! It's done. I can't believe it. A fun fact about Gold is that he's not allowed within 500 feet from Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah, it's a terrible misunderstanding as I understand it, but